This program is brought to you by UCKG.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Love Talk Show. Are you cursed in love? Do you feel stagnant when it comes to relationships? Whether you are single or married, whether you are in a relationship or not. When it comes to relationships in general, how do you feel about them? Do you feel stagnant, stuck, not progressing, not being successful? You feel or sense that there is something missing. You feel frustrated or disappointed at yourself or at those who, are around you or those who are with you in a relationship. Perhaps within your marriage, you sense that there is this, this something missing. Perhaps you have been to various relationships before. Maybe this is not your first marriage. This is perhaps your second or third. Maybe this is your second, third, or fourth relationship. And it feels like it's almost like a curse. That's how many people feel nowadays when it comes to relationships. Sometimes it's even enhanced by the comments of friends and family members, even the media in general.
Yes, it's true. Some people, they have had so many relationships, not relationships that they wanted to be passing, where they just wanted to have fun. They meant that relationship to be serious, but it just didn't work out. So for the first times they think, I just didn't find the right person. So I chose wrong. That's what's wrong here. But after a while, after choosing so many different people in different stages of their lives, they start wondering, is it something wrong with me?
Yeah.
Is there something wrong with the way I do things? Because it's impossible that I see people around me and they eventually seem to settle, to find the one person that they are happy with, and I can't. So many start wondering, do I have a curse on me?
Yes, exactly. And in order to shed a light in today's topic, we're going to have here Chris and Hazel Brown, who experienced something similar, especially Chris. It's a very interesting story, very powerful story, which will help you understand where this stems from, but also what you have to do to overcome it. Okay? So I want you to stick around because their story you indeed inspire you who are married, who are already in a relationship, who have been to various relationships before, or those of you who are still single.
And once again, we will help you see how in order for you to have a successful relationship, for you to be happy in love, you need to learn to love intelligently. So here's what's coming up on today's show.
Yes, we have a lot in store for you in today's episode. We'll be starting off the show by answering the questions that you're too scared to ask in this week's Dear Love Talk. And after 9 years of marriage, today's guest couple might not seem like they're cursed in love, but this wasn't always the case. We'll be delving deeper into their stories and finding out how they turned this around and how you too can change your attitude towards dating. And don't forget to stay tuned to find out what divides tonight's couple as we ask them to reveal the 3 most annoying things about each other. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back after this.
This program is brought to you by UCKG.
Hello, our YouTube viewers. We are the presenters of the Love Talk Show.
I am Rafa.
And you know who I am, Luke. And we are here to encourage you to share this channel with your friends, your family members. Invite them to watch our shows, because our desire is to help couples and singles do better in their relationships or future relationships. So subscribe to this channel, share on your Facebook page, share the link with everyone you know, so that it can learn intelligent love.
Also, leave us our comments and your questions.
This program is brought to you by UCKG.
Dear Love Talk is a segment for those who like sound advice, right? Unfortunately, not everyone can stand the truth. But in this segment, we try our best to give you sound advice when it comes to relationships. So write to us, questions at lovetalkshow.tv, and we will answer your questions here in this segment. Those of you who are single, married, engaged, those of you who have been through so much, we are more than glad to offer you some help, okay? Today we have a very special and a quite long question.
It's not that long.
Yes. Maybe the answer won't be that long either. So let's see what the question is all about.
It says like this: I'm writing because I have a problem that I can't seem to stop talking about girls and looking for who could be the one. It came to the point that I had been a bit desperate to be with someone. My good friend had told me that every week there is always a new girl I'm chasing. They are right, and I had been getting hurt because they seem not to like me back, and I tend to fall for a girl pretty quickly. Please help.
So
See, not that long.
Yes. Well, once again, we see here the conflict between intelligent and emotional love. Even your friend has given you sound advice. You're always after girls. You're always you're shooting everywhere. You're like, you're on a hunting spree, trying to get someone. And he even says that he gets hurt, and yet he can't seem to stop. It's almost like an addiction. See, when you allow passion and those feelings inside to control you, it's almost like an addiction. You need to feed it. You lose control over yourself. You lose your identity. People who do that kind of thing, they lose their identity. Perhaps the friend is seeing that he's losing his identity. He's lowering himself. He's diminishing himself. He's doing anything to get the attention of girls. And by doing that, he's getting hurt. It doesn't say how he's getting hurt, but it's hurting him somehow.
I think one way that he's getting hurt is that he wants someone who doesn't want him back. But I think like this, it depends on the environment that you go to, that you live in. The girls there will notice, like your friend noticed, that every week you're after somebody new. So one week... You begin
to lose credit.
Yeah, one week you approached someone. Next week, someone else. This week is the girl. So she's gonna think, I'm never gonna go for this guy because every week he wants someone new. And I think the problem here is not the fact that he can't find somebody, that he likes somebody who doesn't like him back. The problem is, he says, it seems I'm always thinking about it. I'm desperate to find somebody. So your problem is not love life related at all.
And that's where there is a concern, because how is he approaching the matter? How is he approaching the situation when it comes to finding to approaching a woman, to see whether she wants to date him or not? How is he doing that? Because he sounds and seems a little desperate. And that desperation can be sometimes quite obvious, and that will push women away. So you are putting yourself in a situation, you are trying so hard, but in the wrong way. You're approaching the situation the wrong way, and that causes women to walk away from you, because they can see, they can sense that there is a man right there that is desperate for a relationship, and he's no longer that man that they're looking for. They want to see, they want to see a man, not just like a human being who has an old man who has turned into a boy, into a child, and is desperate for attention or is in need of a relationship. So women will not see confidence in that man. They will not see confidence. They will say, this man lacks confidence. Where is his confidence? That is so desperate for a relationship, to the point where he's doing what he's doing, he's going around, and it might be the case where his reputation is getting tarnished. There's a news going around that he is, as I said, on a hunting spree for a future partner.
Another problem with this is that if you manage to get somebody, you're probably not choosing correctly. You're just shooting. Wherever it hits, okay, that one accepted, okay. But you're not even choosing wisely, correctly.
It's like fishing, you're throwing the net. You're not fishing. You're not fishing with the rod, with the hook, and patiently waiting. You're casting the net to see, if you can catch anything. Then it loses quality, it loses purpose. You begin to ignore certain aspects. You ignore certain signs. Perhaps you come across a woman who has shown not so good, very nice or so good signs, but you ignore them because right now you need someone. So in other words, you need to have a good relationship with yourself first. You're not complete in your own. That's why this is happening to you. Which shows that his problem is not love life related. Sometimes you might think, I have a problem where I can't find somebody. The problem is not that. The problem is that you have to, like you said, you have to see a relationship with yourself. You need to take care of yourself first. One thing that it shows me, if you're so desperate or so focused on finding somebody, like your friend said, every week, it means you're focused on nothing else. So what do you want for your future? Do you want to find somebody to eventually, maybe in a few years, get married? Do you have what it takes? Are you after someone just for the sake of having a relationship? Because, I don't know, I'm at a certain age in which I need someone. I'm getting too old, or my friends, all my friends, they are in a relationship, or most of them. So what is the purpose of a relationship for you? Is it because you just want to have a relationship, or you are looking for a long-term relationship? Because if you are looking for a long-term relationship, first thing you do is invest in yourself. You take your time, you value yourself.
Which will take your focus so much from finding somebody. If you're looking at yourself, if you're working on yourself, then obviously you know that you're here, you want to find somebody, but your focus are not 100% on this because you have bigger fish to fry. You have other things to worry about.
And that's when you lose your identity. You, as I said, you begin to ignore certain things about the person who you are with, about yourself. You're overlooking certain things. You lose your identity. You become somebody else just so you can fit in or be accepted, recognized, and the list goes on. So, dear friend, focus on yourself. Stop shooting all over the place, okay? Save some ammunition. All right? Learn how to shoot first, or maybe how to fish. Learn intelligent love. Go to our website, lovetalkshow.tv, okay? And we're gonna hear so many stories there, so many people sharing their stories, and so many ideas and tips and advice that you can make things right, okay? So if you are in a similar situation, or facing a different situation per se, write to us, questions@lovetalkshow.tv. We will answer to those questions right here in this segment.
This program is brought to you by UCKG.
Do you know what intelligent love is? But you can find out on our site. It's lovetalkshow.tv. Many people, they struggle in love, in their relationships. They keep losing their hearts, their feelings, and everything always goes to waste. So if you want to learn to love intelligently, that's the place you should visit. lovetalkshow.tv. We also have our Facebook page, our Instagram page, Love Talk Show. So visit us.
I just agree with everything she said.
This program is brought to you by UCKG.
Welcome back to the Love Talk Show, and today's topic is, are you cursed in love? Many people feel that way, that they're not getting anywhere, especially after trying so many times, and they think like, there is something wrong with me.
With the people that come to speak to us, less and less people are managing to find happiness in love. Some people don't feel cursed, but many people, they wonder what there is something wrong because I have tried everything, I have been with different people, and still I cannot find what I'm looking for.
And then their self-esteem is very low. They begin to lose identity. They don't know what to do anymore, where to go anymore. The only solution perhaps is those who are in a relationship to split up, or those who are single, those who are still alone on their own. They think, well, this is me, this is my life. I'll never be happy. I'll just jump from one relationship to another.
Some people even think, the only solution here is just take things as they come. So I'm not going to commit anymore. I'm not going to commit my heart anymore.
Yeah.
I'll just have fun
there's a lot
because
of
there's no point.
Growing.
Yeah.
Yes. So in order to help you, not us, but you, understand that that's not the end of the road. That shouldn't be the end of the road. We have invited this lovely couple, Chris and Hazel Brown.
Hello.
How are you guys?
Very well,
Very
thank
well,
you.
thank
Thank you for having us.
Good to have you here.
Lovely names.
Lovely names.
Thank you.
And I would like to start off by asking you this question. Have you ever felt this way? That you've been married for 9 years now and 3 months.
Yes, 3 months. Yes,
She was just telling us now.
Yes.
And 3 months,
And 3
very
months.
important.
But it's not always been this way because you kind of struggled in the past. So have you ever felt this way, that you were perhaps cursed or, a failure when it comes to relationships?
It's, Luke, it's funny because you just said, and the title is Cursed in Love. So I'll start from the reverse, and I'm going to say, now, no, totally not. So I'm going to work backwards and say, before in the past, yes, I felt like I was cursed in love, if one way or another.
And why was that?
Well, it was a situation of, it's not just me, it was talking about the whole family. In my family, there are aunts and uncles who are either divorced or single. Now, I'm not a spring chicken, right? So you can think about that if they're in their ages and they're, still like divorced and think there's something up, but that's okay. So life goes on, you're growing up and you've seen this sort of situation around you. But because of the sort of mindset I had from young, I just made a decision, look, that's not going to happen with me. That's not going to happen with me. And going along the way, I realized, well, then it was my parents. They got divorced as well. That's getting pretty close, right? And I think for anyone who's been through a situation where you got your parents divorced, even as an adult, it does have an effect.
Yes.
It's not something you just think, oh, well, they're divorced and everything, So it did have this effect. But still being stubborn, saying, well, that's not going to happen to me. Then it happened to my elder sister. She got divorced as well. Now, I'm not saying that they're all wrong. There were reasons behind this at the end of the day, which I thought, well, sometimes it may take that, right? Okay, getting through that. Then my younger sister gets divorced as well. So here I'm in the middle now. So it's gone like that, and it's gone like that, and then come back here.
Surrounded.
So I'm surrounded by this all around. And then one of them got remarried, and it was thought, well, that's it. Gets divorced again.
Wow.
Same with the other one as well. And I thought, this is strange. So I came through a situation past, which we spoke about as well, and my past relationship. Where a time was getting married. And guess what happened? The vow said it will never happen, got divorced as well. So a situation where it's saying, look, it comes to a point we start really assessing what is going on. If all the family, this is happening for a while, it's like it's something just waiting there for you. Your turn's going to come, your turn's going to come, and bam, it happens. So you think, well, there's something wrong here.
Did you feel that way, Hazel, yourself? I don't know if your story is similar or the same, but there was there were some issues back then, right?
Yes, there were. And at one point I did question, because I'd been on my own, a single woman for a very long time, and just not seemed to be meeting my Mr. Right. So the questions did run to my mind. Is something up, Is there a curse, in this situation? So I did ask myself the question. I didn't discuss it with anyone else, but it does go through your mind. You sit and you think, well, things that should be happening naturally isn't happening naturally, so there's a problem, So yes, I did.
Did you guys have any external pressure? Because, growing old, people start asking questions, especially family members.
Yes.
What's going on? What has
Yes.
happened? Did you have that?
Yes, I did have pressure, being the eldest daughter,
Right.
the middle child. So my younger siblings were all married in relationships in their early 20s, and I wasn't dating in my 20s. So there was a pressure from family and my parents.
How was your self-esteem, especially being a woman? Because men, we know how we kind of, as you said, it's not going to happen to me, I'm a man. But it's a bit harder for women to deal with that.
When the questions come from your family and your parents, you do feel a little bit pressured, but my own character and personality, I'm a strong, tough cookie, so to speak. So I tend not to listen to these things. So you're hearing it, but you're not listening to it. And because of my parents' unconditional love for me, and they knew that I've always been like a headstrong child, so they just allowed me and supported my decisions. And because I'm more academic, they just presumed, she was just devoting everything into career and studies.
Many people, they go through life not understanding certain things. Why? It's like, why can't I? When I look around and I see couples happy, especially nowadays with social media, we don't know if the word is fake or not, but people post pictures of, them with their partner happy, and they say, why is it that everybody else seems to get it right when I can't? And people don't understand, and it's through their stories. Our guests here on the show, about some details about their stories that help us understand why and when it started shifting for them in a bad way. And if you would like to know more and learn how to love intelligently, like we're always saying here on the show, take a look at this ad about our website.
If you haven't done so already, check out our revamped website, lovetalkshow.tv, where you can find out everything you need to know about this show and the free Love Talk Live seminars happening every week. On there, you can also get in touch with us, watch the previous shows, browse through all the Love Talk events coming up soon, and more importantly, you can learn more on how to love intelligently.
So I would like to ask a question to both of you. Sure. When it came down to relationships, how was it? How many times you got into a relationship? I don't know if you were married before or just dated a few people. Is there anything that today you realize that you're supposed to have done differently? How it went about or your approach, things like that.
Do you want to go first?
I guess for me, maybe I was a little bit immature or less tolerant per se. So I knew what I wanted and what I didn't want. So after a couple of dates, I didn't like a few things. I just wouldn't see you again. End of.
Were you very picky?
I was picky. That's
what she's trying to say in a nice way.
I was admit, I was picky.
Quick question. Did you focus, would you say that you focused quite a lot in your career?
I was going to ask that because you mentioned that.
I did.
Not that it's wrong.
Yeah.
But you feel like there was a lot of investment on that, because we see that happening a lot today, both men and women.
Yeah.
A lot of investment in career, When you talk to them about love life and relationships, no. We take as it comes.
That's right.
But time passes.
Yes.
And when it comes, as you said, you were immature.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like
Yes.
it's almost like you don't pay any attention to it because everybody believes when it comes to love, it just happens. So when it's time that you say, you know what, I have studied, I have my career, I have focused on that for many years, now it's time. You find out that you're unprepared.
Yes.
So
that's
now you
correct.
don't know what to do, you don't know how to get it
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Would you say that you were a little bit like that?
Very true to a certain extent, because I did a lot of focusing on my academic life, my career, my own self, my own confidence. And in my career and at work, I'm the manager. So my say goes, so to speak. And I think you kind of think, well, in a relationship, you can do that, but you can't. The reality is that you can't. So you have to drop that hat, and adjust to the role that you need to be. So all of those things, it took time and I learned, and yes.
Nice. Mr. Brown.
Look, I say, was there a lot of things that I realise now that I've done in a way? And I believe so. Yeah, I think it's a two-way situation, and sometimes we've got to stop and look at ourselves as well. What part do we play in it? And I think from the background, I said to you, of the situation I had, I realised that looking back, there were times where if I saw something going wrong, it's time for me to walk.
Like what? You saw something going wrong. Give us an example.
If I saw a situation that was going to turn into an argument or a stubborn situation or anything like that, in my head, I'm not going to spend a lifetime with that. No matter how good they looked or how well, it's like, it's time. Time's up. It's time to move on, or space. I realised that now after. So instead of going through it and sorting things out, maybe inside it was magnified bigger than what it really is because of the situation and saying that same thing, I don't want this to happen to me. And the choices were made for the wrong reasons as well, because there must have been a vacuum there. And then you're looking at the external instead of the internal and the compatibility in that sort of way. So, all right, so if those things go, but yet still, there's a little bit of hick here, or there's a little bit of problem here. Instead of sorting out, it's time. Time's up. Yeah, time to go. That sort of thing. I used to walk.
I think it's so interesting what he just said, because not only men, women do that too. They think like this: when you love somebody and you were meant for each other, it's supposed to work. When it doesn't, when you have a disagreement, for example, when it takes any kind of work, they say, you see, this is not the person. They just assume, they have this ideal that love is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Relationships are beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. And it's supposed to just work. And when it doesn't work, then it's not for you.
Yeah, it's a myth. One of the myths. We didn't click.
Yes.
Chemistry. Just because we had a small disagreement, you know what? I'm not willing to argue. I'm out. I believe you've been married for 9 years and 3 months.
Yes.
So I don't believe you never had a disagreement or an argument. I believe you did have, but you've learned how to go about it.
Right.
Yes.
Right. It's a bit silly to think that we can get into a relationship with someone and never have a disagreement or anything. I mean, you're two different people.
Yes.
And that's how it's supposed to be. You learn with each other.
That's right.
You will have to adapt. I mean, I've always said that she has made me a better man, and I believe I've made her a better woman. Hopefully so. but that's true. It's been 15 years we've been married. So, I mean, it's impossible for 15 years not to have a disagreement or a misunderstanding. You have to learn how to go about it.
Yes.
That's when you show true love.
Yes.
Walking away is not true love.
No, it wasn't.
True love is when you bear each other, when you learn of each other, when sometimes you compromise and you drop your guard and let it go. So, okay, let us do as you're saying perhaps this time. It's not about winning, because in a relationship there's no, how can you win? You're meant to be one.
Yes.
So if both are not winning, both are losing. Right? So, having gone through all that, how did you manage to turn things around? Because
Before you ask that, I actually want to ask this. When did you realize I have to do something? Because some people, they go through their entire lives like Chris, you know, oh yeah, this person is, or you, this person, I didn't like that about her. Next, or there's a problem here, next. And they never realize, next. And they think, you see, the problem is with everybody else. There's no problem here. It's these people, these wrong people that come my way. And they never come to a point to say, wait a minute. There must be something that I am not doing or that I'm doing wrong. Yes. When did you come to, I'm sure you must have had that moment that you said, that you said, wait a minute. I need to change something here. When was that for each of you?
Go ahead.
You know, Rafa, you've just identified a very interesting point. It's when did it change for you? So the time that I've spent investing on myself and being more tolerant of others, it's like the penny dropped. Hey, you're not perfect. You have to be more tolerant. You know, you don't have to manage and control everything. Just recognize the differences in people. And the differences is what makes it work. You know, so I started being more tolerant and started seeing people for who they are. They're not so perfect. You know, you go to the supermarket and you get all the good, healthy, organic vegetables, but they're not perfectly made and shaped, isn't it, you know? So looking at myself first and foremost, changing what I needed to change in me, the way I taught, the way I viewed and I saw others, and also not being tolerant enough of others. And I'm a very patient person, but I've always said to myself I knew what I wanted and what I didn't want. And I even had to alter, you know, those criteria. Also, the realization also hit home when I saw a picture of, it was a skeleton, a woman waiting for her Mr. Right.
I've seen that picture actually.
She waited so long and it was like, wow, that could be me. So all said and done, it was the changes in myself, first and foremost, that allowed me to meet Mr. Right, the other part of the puzzle. Learning to love intelligently, attending seminars that helped me to, you know, love intelligently and to learn how to be the best I can be as a woman and as a person.
How about you, Chris?
You know, I'll say, well, I was glad she learned to love intelligently. I'll say that. But with myself, I think it was a time of realization and reflecting back. Whereas before you always thought it's someone else's fault, it's always somebody else's fault. And then reflects back and think, well, it's got something to do with me as well at the same time. And similar in knowing what I did want after. Also, taking part in the seminars made a difference as well. Looking at the angles, because sometimes somebody does a seminar and you go to many seminars, and I've been to many seminars as well, and you hear what's talked about and it kicks a load of dust and then it settles and you go on about your life in the same way. This seminar wasn't one where you go about the same way. You go around with it there saying, hey, remember this, right? And that's what happened. And being reflective and thinking, well, actually, a lot of things that were said were true and were right. And it's time to stop, take a look at yourself. Don't go into another relationship, you know, because all you're going to do is, if you're not whole, you haven't got anything to give. So you've got to work on yourself, find that you're whole, you're happy in yourself with who you are and what you know, and then you have something to share and something to give, and you're not dependable on a relationship in your life. So in saying that, in actually meeting with Hazel and realizing that as well myself, and realize, look, not every time that everything I say is right? And from finding out, I realized that, well, I wasn't right all the time. From realizing that, it really created a good balance with both of us in that sense. Yeah, I'm right at times, and sometimes Hazel is right as well, you know, and sometimes it takes time to be mature, stand back, reflect on it. I might think, no, that's the way to do it, and then all of a sudden it comes around, the thing says, see, I told you, but she never says, see, I told you. I have to go, yeah, okay, you know what, you know the thing you said, right, okay, you know, maybe you were right. You know, this is really funny, this happened with a shop. Now, this is out of it, really. Go in the shop, trying on clothes and all that. And I like to choose what I choose at the same time. And she was upstairs in one department, I was in the other department, so I took a photo in the mirror. And I thought, hey, this looks cool, this looks good. And she said she didn't think it on. No, I'm going to get it, I think it's good. Got home and I thought, wearing it, and I thought, this doesn't look right, you know. And I've already spent the money, I've got it at home, right? And things like that happen, we laugh about it, you know, because that's part of it. And I really believe a lot of base of our relationship is one, our faith in what we believe, how we believe, and in the personalities, in being able to laugh at things all the time. It don't take it too serious, you know.
Don't be too stiff.
Yeah, you're going to mess up, so you're going to mess up, laugh about it. I'll trip up over there, crew, everybody starts laughing, I'll probably laugh about it as well. It's not so serious, you know, at the end of the day.
So it's pretty much not trying to fix the whole thing by fixing people around you or trying to fix yourself with someone.
Yeah.
But it's fixing you.
That's
first,
it. Yes,
right? Looking at yourself first. So we're going to go for a quick break right now, and after the break, we're going to come back with Chris and Hazel and find out how things are today. And I want to touch something very interesting here before we conclude our show, because this is something we mentioned several shows ago, and this is something peculiar about their story that I want to touch on. So stick around, don't go anywhere. We're going to be back shortly.
This program is brought to you by UCKG.
Hello everyone, we are here to invite you to our Love Talk seminars every Thursday at 8 p.m. on the address that you can see here at the bottom of your screen. You can also find more details on our website, lovetalkshow.tv. You find events throughout the year. They are all free, where you're going to learn a lot about relationships. Singles and couples are invited. Our desire is to share with you a little bit of what we've been through, and also, help you with prayers, with advice, with counseling, down-to-earth teachings in which will help you become a better man, a better woman, a better husband, a better wife, and see, better results of your investment when it comes to relationships. Okay, every Thursday, 8 p.m., Love Talk Live on this address here that you see at the bottom of your screen.
This program is brought to you by UCKG.
Welcome back to the Love Talk Show. In case you have just joined us, we are talking about feeling cursed when it comes to love. Frustration, disappointment, divorce leads to that thought of, am I cursed? Am I right? What is wrong with me? And we have here Chris and Hazel with us. And there is something that I would like to highlight, which is the importance of being well with yourselves first. Because, and after meeting, and after coming together, I'm just thinking, what if you had met each other without being well with yourselves? Wow. Having, bringing that baggage with you. We spoke about baggages a long time ago in one of our shows. What would be of your relationship today? Because that's what happens. We come across couples who have been carrying, baggage throughout their lives because they never dealt with those things from the past, which you did.
Yeah.
So can you imagine what would have been of your relationship today?
I think that if I'm trying to trace back and look back and think, if these things were still going on and hadn't actually looked at self, a relationship would not work.
Yeah.
The relationship would not work because there'll be little things that will seem bigger than what they are, right? Always thinking you're right, Am I right? I'm joking, right? Right. But there'll be a lot of things that will say this won't work because you'll still be working on yourself while trying to maintain a relationship as well. You can't do that. It's not about working on yourself while working on a relationship. Not everybody's going to be that tolerant of you working on yourself. They want to know that you're taking care of them and vice versa as well. So if you're supposed to be taking care of them and you're there working, so look, I'm really busy working on myself right now, it's not going to be good.
And I'm really curious to know here, since you've come to that conclusion, and I'm sure you've started working on yourselves, that's why your relationship today works. How was it? What steps did you take? What was different about when you came together from all the other relationships you had and failed? What was different?
Okay.
What did you do differently?
I'll say this one. When we came together, we both knew what we didn't want. That is a fact. We underlined what we didn't want. And even coming together in a relationship, I remember it was on Thursdays, is no matter what we're doing, Hazel has a busy lifestyle, I have a busy lifestyle as well. No matter what we're doing, we take time out on Thursdays to make sure that, if there's anything particular to go over, all right, so it's got really good over time, so you don't need every Thursday. Not a good thing to do, right? Always remember, this is what you started with, this is what you carry on with, So then they turn into 2 weeks instead. It's like a review at the end of the month. End of the month for appraisal. How did I do this month, How did you do, No, it was a bit, not so harsh, but in a way, yeah, we'd take time out, coffee, tea, whatever, go out, have time and talk about things that might be an issue, because sometimes you might overlook something, but deep down, somewhere inside, it's still there. It will come out and you'll, excuse my language, it will vomit out at one point or another. Yeah?
How long did you date?
How long did you take? We didn't date that long. We dated about 8 months. 8, 9 months.
8 months.
Yeah.
8 to 9 months.
Do you mind me asking your age, at the time you were dating?
We're mature. Very mature.
30s.
Go ahead.
30s. So when you were dating, these are the things you talked about.
We did. We took
brought it to the open.
Yeah, we just put everything in the open. And I knew that I knew that I knew.
No rush.
Yes. Everything. And I actually said, look, if there's anything you want to ask me about my past or anything at all, just ask me about it, because it's better that, and she knows everything about me, good or bad, weird or whatever, just know it. So it's there at the end of the day, and we know who we're dealing with, and vice versa as well. And we did that in that sense,
And it's important to just keep it real.
Yeah.
Keep it simple, keep it real.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The reason why I answer that is because people feel the rush, the need of, rushing with the relationship. But it was settled in your minds that, no, we're not going to do that way. This time it has to be different. We learned a lot.
Yes.
We have now changed within. We are well alone.
Yes.
So there's no need to rush.
Yes,
Let's
that's
talk
right.
about it. Let's see where we are. Let's see what we want and go for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's how couples who are dating should go about it.
There's not a rush on it. If there's a rush in it, if you're running from something, it's because something is chasing you at the end of the day, right? So why are you rushing? Why are you legging it all at the same time, And just to go back on something, you said, the first question is saying, would this relationship have worked if we had the same things as before? And this has been ringing in my head. It had to do with compatibility too, because I'm not saying that I was right, but I believe because Hazel is the sort of person to kick off and argue about everything at the end of the day. If I get annoyed about it, she'll let me simmer. And that's it. So it was the compatibility with both of us as well. So maybe it would have worked in that sense because of the understanding. But if you're someone who's got a certain personality type similar to yours as well, or would clash all the time, it's not going to work. Yeah. That's the reality. So maybe, it would have.
I believe also due to the change of mentality, the change of mind, your approach to relationships is what really helped, right? The intelligent love, that mentality now that you have. But still, even so, as you said, you have to see that compatibility there. Otherwise, you see signs that it might not work, but you want to force a situation which will backfire later on.
And one thing that you said that is, I'm comparing now, you said one thing that you did right from the beginning was to say what you didn't want.
Yes.
You made that clear, which is very different from being picky. people usually, when they start a relationship, they say, okay, let's not talk about certain things because I don't want to ruin this. They hide certain specific things that are important to them just for the sake of let's make it work when it doesn't. It's quite the opposite. These are the kind of things that when you're starting a relationship, you should know, okay, this is the kind of thing that is not acceptable to me. I don't like this. I don't want this. So that you're clear. Right there from the beginning, you will know, okay, then we are not compatible because we have different objectives, different...
no pretense. No pretense.
Yes.
Real.
Otherwise, within the relationship, the person phases into something else, a monster, and then it's too late. Listen, it was very nice to have you here.
It was a pleasure. Thank you for having
I
us.
really like the way you express yourselves because it helps people understand what true intelligent love does to people. You see, you love with your head, with your mind.
Yes.
You know, and that's why you get very far in a relationship, right?
And some people might say, oh, well, they got lucky. But that's not luck. After a lifetime of failing, all of a sudden you're lucky. It's not luck. You've made some change, some kind of change that changed your lives.
Yes.
That's correct, yes.
Thanks a lot, guys, for
Thanks
coming.
so much.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having us.
Okay. So this is it. I think they helped us cover today's topic pretty much. As we always say, it's all about you first. It's all about you first. You perhaps you thinking that way. You know, I'll never be happy, or when will I find the right person? What is wrong with me? Am I cursed? There's something wrong with me. Maybe I have to change my looks. I have to change who I am. You end up losing your identity just so you can find someone. You're no longer yourself. Then you find someone. But sooner or later, you reveal who you are, and that someone will not be happy about that. And you will end up ruining the relationship.
One thing that happens is that people say, you know, I need to find somebody to find whatever it is that I'm looking for. And some people do find, and it really works for a while. But once they finally find that person, they realize it's not enough. Because they, within themselves, whatever they have inside, is not enough. And since we're talking about being cursed, some people feel like being cursed. One thing that Chris said that I think it explains his curse. Some people don't understand. You know, I have tried, I'm a nice person. I'm a nice person, I try to change. Sometimes people bring stuff about me and I try.
People even say you're so nice, I don't know what's wrong with you.
And whatever is not, I try to change, you know, I'm very understanding. So I don't get why I can't be happy in my love life. I'll tell you what Chris's curse at least was. He revealed it to us. But his curse was, he said, whenever he was in a relationship and there was any kind of work to be done there, he said, you know, it's time. So his curse was, and it would follow him forever if he hadn't changed, is that mentality that many people have, is that you don't need to work in a relationship. There's no work to be done. It just happens. And if it doesn't happen, oh well. Some people, because they are unable to work on themselves first and work on whatever is not right in the relationship, leads them to failing.
In the case of Hazel, she was way too much into her career, her future, and she was kind of, putting that aside for a while. So it's not pretty much a curse per se, but it's just, just neglect of certain things, or maybe due to certain experiences in life, due to certain things people see or witness, that stays with us, like happened to Chris, seeing so much happening within his family, you begin to buy into that idea, and you don't even know how to go about relationships because you don't have a role model. You don't know. You're even trying to be happy, but you don't have anyone to look up to.
You don't know what that looks like.
Yes.
You don't know what a happy relationship looks like because you've never seen one in your family.
We proved today that that's not a rule, that it can be changed.
It can be broken.
Yes, they were not.
Curse
the curse can be broken. So it's not luck. They were not lucky. It's simply, a different approach, learning intelligent love. They attended the seminars. They learned intelligent love and how to go about it, and today they're doing
happy.
very well.
And one thing that also I wanted to mention, you see, the way that you see things, the way that you see yourself, you see people around you, they influence your actions. Sometimes you are doing things you don't realize. So I am sure, even though we didn't have time here to explore that, I'm sure that Chris's fear, because everybody in his family,
Yes.
every single person in his family had failed relationships. Everybody got divorced. When you grow up with that kind of fear, you will start, that's what made him be fearful. So, oh, this is not working, so let's move on, because I don't want to invest in this and this doesn't work. So the way that you see yourself and others influence your actions, your decisions. So like we're saying, you need to change the way you see yourself, the way you see others, so that your actions will follow and you'll be able to make the right decisions.
That pattern that he saw there made him think, well, this is how it's supposed to be. I don't know how to deal with relationships because nobody in my family seems to do that, to know how to do that. So, the person is pretty much left clueless, and things eventually don't work. So, well, this is it for today, guys. It was a very interesting topic today, and before we go, we're gonna leave with the 3 most annoying things from Chris and Hazel. They were dreading that a little bit, especially Chris. But I believe they're gonna get it. So until next time, see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
What's annoying about Chris? Eating his dinner too quickly.
What's annoying, what annoys me about Hazel, thing she does, is when we do go to the shops, and it happens to be a clothing shop, and I'll go and choose a garment and say, hey, this looks really great. And she'll say, I don't think that one fits exactly. I don't think that's right. And then I'll say, no, it looks good, looks good. And I remember a particular situation where I thought this looked good. It was a stripy shirt, and I thought it would stand out. And we was at a dinner, and everybody kept looking around at my stripy shirt, and she was right. So that annoys me when she's right with that, right?
Secondly, we go to the shops together. He's quite keen on coming along. 10 minutes after, he gets bored, or he wants to go home, or thinks I'm going into every shop.
And the next one is this. We're going out, we got to get up, get ready, and fly out the house. And every time I say, look, we've got to get out quickly. And the only thing is, I'm pretty fast driver, I shouldn't say that. And I'll always end up doing the fast and furious run, trying to get there in time. So that little one is just getting out in time. But the funny thing about that is, I get up and she actually gets ready quicker to make sure that she gets out the door before I do. So then it turns around on me that it looks like I'm the one who's late at the same time. So that's another one that annoys me.
Third annoying thing about Chris. There's a few, but the third annoying thing about Chris. We go to the supermarket, buy lots of shopping, some things we don't need, get to the cash till, and there's other things that he sneakily put into the trolley, like sweets and cakes and lots of other things that's not so good for you. But I'll stop here.
Another one that tends to annoy me is, it's a kind of good one really, in a funny sort of way. I shouldn't let her know this, but she is an excellent cook, right? And the thing about it, I'll make sure when I'm training it, I'll cut down. And I say, just put a tea plate, because this week I'm really working on training. Put a tea plate. For some reason, tea plates kind of end up like this, or no, tea plate ends up like this, right? And to her, that's a tea plate. So I walk in and I say, no, only just a little bit. Or the other one to go with that, this is part 2 of that, is when she does do the tea plate, I'll get another tea plate after, and another tea plate after, so it all comes up to a whole plate, because her cooking is really brilliant. That's it.
And that's all for today's Love Talk show. Be sure to tune in next week to learn more on how to love intelligently.
This program is brought to you by UCKG.